Currently waiting for TKG Guardian to get done with this fucking game so we can record a video. What's going on, guys? TKG Gemini here, bringing you a new fucking video, and this is my second time trying to record this, because the first time I got a little bit into my story and my mom decided to knock on my fucking door and ask for something out of my room. So, I'm bringing you a story this time, and it's going to be about something that happened to me when I was in first grade, and this is when I got suspended for half a day from first grade for getting into a fight, which it was not, but you'll understand why later. So, when I was in first grade, I went to a school that was it wasn't a good school, we'll put it that way. It was a very, very shitty place to be, but in first grade I wasn't aware of that. So one day after lunch, we go outside and we're chilling, and there's this huge crowd of students over by this tree that was on the property. It was the only tree that was in that area. And over by the tree, it had all like the tires the kids used to jump across of and lay down inside and play pranks and shit. It was, you know, the hangout spot because it was the coolest. It was where the tree was during the fucking hot days. So there's this huge crowd of students over there. And I want to know what's going on, because in my school that doesn't happen, especially not with the students that were there, because it was a mix of all the students. And like I said in my previous recording, where I went to school, it was very segregated by... Not when I said it last time, I said social class, but that doesn't make sense because that would be like how much money you make. But it's more like, you know, emos, the goths, the preps, the nerds, all that kind of thing. They kind of just hung out with their own individual groups. Well, that crowd of people had a little bit of everybody over there, and like I said before, it doesn't happen like that. So I went over with my friend Carly, who was one of my best friends in the entire world, and we wanted to see what was going on. Well, when I got over there, one of my only guy friends at the time, his name was Caleb. He was kind of a bigger kid, but not like fat. Like, he had a little bit chunk to him, and at that point all the little kids didn't, because that didn't make sense. We all ran around all the time. That was during the generation that actually spent time in the dirt. So he was standing with his back like hunched over, like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, whatever. He was like hunched over, and on top of him, a kid had him wrapped around with his legs like crisscrossed around his waist, and then like master locked up through his throat and cut off all his airways. The thing about my friend Caleb too is, like me, he's an asthmatic. He has asthma. He can't breathe, and he has it worse than I do, and mine's really, really, really bad. So his is like, he can't even fucking walk very fast, or he breaks and just can't breathe. So this kid's choking him out, and he's got his stomach locked and his throat, so he can't breathe, period. And I can see him turning almost purple, like a fucking grape. So my friend Carly's like, yo, we gotta help him. So I run over and I yank the kid's arms off, and I push him clear off his back onto the ground. Well, from what I remember, because like I said, I'm in first grade, so my memory about it's a little bit shaky, but from what I remember, is before we even went over there, we knew the kid Ethan was the kid that was choking him out. I didn't say his name. His name was Ethan, and he was a nerdy kid, so I don't know why he was bullying my friend Caleb, but whatever. So we knew he was over there, and for some reason she decided it would be funny to push him to the ground and not let him get up. And me being when I was a first grader, I was one of those, I'll do whatever you say because I don't know if it's going to get me in trouble or not kids. I was just I went with the flow. That was who I was. So when we went over there, that was our intention. Well, she decided that after we had gotten Caleb free and, you know, helped him out and sent him away to go to the teachers, we decided we were going to continue on with our game. So whenever I pushed him to the ground, every time he went to get up, from what I remember, I just kicked him in the shoulder and pushed him back down and wouldn't let him get up. Part of me was because I was pissed off. Part of me was because she said, let's play this game, and I didn't know what else to do. So we did that, and we sat there and we did that until the playtime, whatever the fuck it's, you know, until we went back inside. So we sat there and we did that until we went back inside. We go back in, and I go to my teacher's class, who was a complete bitch, by the way. So I go to her class, and we're learning like our alphabet or some shit. I don't even remember what the fuck we were doing. We were doing something with English. It was in English is what we were doing. And I'm sitting there, and we were all sitting on the floor in front of the board, because that's just what our teacher decided to make us do that day. And a principal comes down and knocks on the door, and we're all freaking out because the principals at that school never came down there unless there was somebody in trouble. So he knocks on the door, and my teacher goes and opens it, and they step outside. And, that's not a good sign. If you know anything about principals and teachers, when they step outside, they have to talk about something, and the students can't hear it. So they step out, and they're talking, and I'm like, oh shit, somebody's about to get in trouble. So I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting for them to call one of the other students, and then they step in, and they tell me to go talk to him, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I go and I talk to him, and they pull me out, and they tell me that the kid went to the office and told them that I punched him in the stomach and knocked the air out of him, and that he threw up. And they called his mom down there and all this other bullshit. And I tell him, I didn't do it, that's not what happened. Well, of course, because I'm disagreeing with the story, they have to take me to the office and have me explain what happened. So when we go up there, I tell them the whole story, I tell them exactly what happened, and they tell me that they have to get somebody else who was there. And I'm like, well, my friend Carly she was there, she knows. And the thing about her is she never lied. Like, dead serious, from the time I met her up until that point, she had never lied. I'd never heard a lie come out of her mouth. Even if it meant hurting one of her friends, she never lied. Well, I was like, well, she doesn't lie. You can call her up here. She'll tell you exactly what happened. I'd never punched him. Well, they call her up there, and of course, I can't be in the room to make sure, I'm not interrupting and whatnot. So they send me out, and I'm sitting in the office. Well, because there's a problem, they call my mom. And while my mom's on the way up there, my friend Carly is in the office telling the story to the principals. It comes out, or she comes out, and that she goes back to class, and the principal comes out and tells me that she said I hit him, which, of course, pissed me off. Because my best friend in the whole world is going to sit there and tell the principals that I hit this poor kid when I did not hit him. So, of course, they call my mom down, and they're like, your son's in trouble, he's about to be suspended, and all this other bullshit. Well, my mom's not the kind of person to take that. My mom came up there blistering pissed. She came up there, and at the time, the vice principal, who is now the principal, his name was Mr. Dyer. Still hate him. I don't like his son. I don't like anybody who is connected to them, period. He's sitting down on a bench in the office, and the principal at the time was waiting for her. So when she got up there, she went to talk to her, and my mom blew up. I have never heard my mother scream and curse so loud in her freaking life. It was terrifying. But I was sitting in the office waiting, and she was going off with the principal, and the vice principal went to stand up to say something. My mom already didn't like him because he's caused plenty of problems for me, my sister, and several of my cousins who went to that school. Well, he went to get up and say something, and she said, you better sit the fuck back down. You've got no involvement or some bullshit. Like, lost it, and said it so steely, calmly, that he just kind of shrunk back into his chair, became a little hobbit. So she went off on him and all this other bullshit. Well, they decided that instead of suspending me for the 3 days that they're supposed to, they would just suspend me for the rest of that day, and then I could come back. My mom took me home and asked me what happened, and at that point, I wasn't getting in trouble at all, period, for anything. I never got in trouble at that point, so I was terrified. I thought she was gonna, ground me or something, or spank me, because the spankings hurt so bad. So I didn't tell her anything for the longest time, and then after I told her what happened, she said, so you were just offending your friend? And I said, yeah. She said, okay, then we're gonna go get some ice cream. So it ended up being one of those situations where I did something good, and she took me to get ice cream because I was just defending a friend, and he lied and claimed that I hit him, and then my friend lied and also said that I hit him. So, I mean, there were a lot more details to the story, and my mom could have told it to you better, but I don't think she would have wanted to be in the video for her part, but, I told it as best I could. So if you enjoyed that little bullshit video from when I was in first grade, then leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel for new, and keep fucking watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.